Hey folks, this is the iPad 3 and this video is going to be my initial impressions of it. I've already got it unboxed and in my case, and let's take a look at it. First of all, yeah, this is the box that it comes in. Not a real big difference there. It says iCloud right there, a little iCloud sticker. And then if you open the box, you've got your iPad protector plastic right here. A little bit of a soft protector on this side, on the inside. And then your standard quick tips booklet, iPad 10-watt power adapter, and power and sync cable. So pretty standard fare there. The first thing I notice about the iPad 3 is it is definitely heavier. I can tell a difference when I hold it in my hand. It's also supposed to be a little bit thicker, although it fit in the same case as my iPad 2 perfectly fine. This happens to be the Blu-Rex case with multi-angles and stuff like that, so I can, stand it at different angles and stuff. So, although it's a little bit thicker and heavier, it does fit in the case perfectly fine, and I think I can continue to use the same case that I had with my iPad 2. So that's a plus. When I turn it on, the first thing I notice is the screen is very vibrant and crisp and is just beautiful. Text looks extremely sharp. No matter how hard I try, I cannot perceive any pixels or anything like that or any fuzziness in text whatsoever. So that is a big plus. Videos look great, photos look great. When I view my portfolio, my photography portfolio, the photos just look like a complete print. They just look amazing. Let me go to one, and of course you're not going to be able to see it on the screen or anything like that. How pretty it is, but it's just gorgeous. When I have a high-res photo and I show it to somebody, it looks like they're holding a glossy print or something like that. It's just unbelievable. So I highly recommend the iPad 3 for the screen, and for reading, if you read books for instance or magazines, also for browsing the web, it's I think the best device. Websites look just gorgeous on this thing, and it just makes browsing the web and just using the internet much more pleasurable. Just everything looks just very refined and pretty on this. Of course, they also added the higher resolution camera, which is certainly welcome for both FaceTime as well as doing videos and stills. Although I have found that I often don't use the iPad as a camera because it would require me to hold it up like this, and take a picture like that. A little bit cumbersome, but certainly, it's a welcome plus to have a better camera on the iPad 3. Another thing they added is it doesn't have Siri, but it does have voice dictation. So if I want to speak an email to someone, I now can, or if I want to do a note to myself, I can also speak that. So the way that works is, hopefully I can show this to you and do it upside down here, but I'm in my email application and I go to compose a new email, and there's a new icon here. It's for a microphone. So let's say I want to start to do a dictation. I just click on that and now it's listening. It actually recognized me pretty well. One disappointment though is it does not have Siri. So maybe that'll come with a future software update, I hope. It does have this dictation feature, which is nice, but it doesn't have Siri, unfortunately. I really wish it did have Siri. So hopefully they're working on that for a future OS update. In terms of long-haul reading, I still prefer my Amazon Kindle, however, and I'm actually probably going to be doing another video on that, comparing the iPad 3 to the Amazon Kindle Touch. But mainly it's a form factor issue. For long-haul reading, if I'm going to be reading for 4 or 5 hours or something, it is still a little bit cumbersome to hold this for that long. It just gets a little bit heavy, and it feels heavy in your hand, to read a novel with. Also, it's still a backlit screen, so that means that you are going to have backlight, shining in your eyes, which can provide some eye fatigue. Now, granted, the text looks so much better on the iPad 3 than on the iPad 2 or the iPad 1. So, it is going to be a lot better to read on than prior versions of the iPad. But again, just for long-haul reading, I still prefer the Kindle just because it's so much lighter, it's smaller and compact, and I really do like the e-ink technology, again, for long-haul reading. But for things like web browsing and magazines and articles, the iPad definitely is a great reading device and certainly wins out in that respect. Also, if you're only going to have one device, certainly the iPad should be it. But again, the form factor is a little bit big for reading like hours at a time with, and you will notice the heft of it after a while. Other than that, I think it is definitely a worthy upgrade over the iPad 2 or the iPad 1. Again, just looking at this screen, everything on it just looks incredible, beautiful, and text has almost a 3D quality where it's like almost popping off the page. When I go to iBooks and I look at a book on there, you know, the text just looks really nice. If you zoom in on a text, even when I zoom in, I can't find any fuzziness or anything on fonts, so that's really great. Now let's talk about the internet access on the iPad 3. Of course, all models of iPad 3 have Wi-Fi. I got the Verizon version, which has the Verizon LTE, 4G. And what that basically means is it has high-speed internet. And I have tested that out just briefly here, and it's definitely faster. They say that the LTE internet can be up to 20 Mbps down, which is pretty fast. That's faster than a lot of people have in their home. The plans are, let me go to the settings here so I can tell you what the plans are. They don't have an unlimited plan, unfortunately. So that's something to be aware of. Another thing to be aware of is currently, as of this video, the Verizon iPad 3 can actually be used as a Wi-Fi hotspot. So you can actually share your Verizon internet on the iPad with other devices that you might have over Wi-Fi, like your laptop or things like that, and it can function as a Wi-Fi hotspot. The AT&T version, unfortunately, cannot. So that's something to be aware of. In terms of the plans for the 4G or the LTE on Verizon, you've got 10 gigabytes per month for $80, 5 gigabytes of data per month for $50, 2 gigabytes per month for $30, and 1 gigabyte per month for $20. Now you can subscribe to any of these, and when your data runs out, you'll get a warning message on there telling you that you need to get another plan to buy more data. If you're going to be using this as a Wi-Fi hotspot for other devices, like when you're traveling and stuff, you may burn through that data fairly fast, because something that you'll notice is with the faster internet, you will go through data faster. So that's certainly something to be aware of as well. You will end up spending some money on that when you use it, but it's really nice to have, and I've actually considered maybe even getting rid of my MiFi device now, because this is much faster when I use it as a Wi-Fi hotspot than my MiFi, which is just 3G, whereas this is the LTE. And so that's really definitely a plus with the Verizon version of the iPad 3. So all in all, I can highly recommend the iPad 3 for videos. It looks great for reading, for photos. Everything about it is definitely a worthy upgrade over prior versions of the iPad. The main thing about this, though, is the Retina display screen. It has a really, really great screen that just makes everything you do on it much more fun. And the iPad 3 is just more fun to use. Even if you're just doing web browsing on it, it's just a much more pleasurable experience. So this has been my initial impressions of the iPad 3. Thanks for watching this video, and as always, any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. And also please make sure you're subscribed, because I'm going to be doing more iPad related videos in the near future. Thanks.